welcome to the Surrey Police Service. Thank you for coming today. This is an opportunity for us to talk about issues in the community, to talk about where SPS is and what we are doing now. I'll walk you through some slides. We've got some displays here you can come up and have a look at. We can talk about that. But first I'll start, where are we today? What is SPS doing? So as you may recall, November 29th, we became police of jurisdiction. That means that we are in charge of public safety for Surrey. However, we are doing half of Surrey. We're patrolling half of Surrey. The RCMP are patrolling half. So we cover Whalley and Newton, and then we have some units that go across the entire city, but basically we take half and they take half. What is happening is that we are gaining in police officers. We are hiring more and more police officers, and they are reducing police officers, and they're sending police officers to other detachments. Taking a little bit of time, and we've been here now, POJ, 120 days, 130 days, and we've gone to about 33,000 calls. And we are doing great work in the community. We are making arrests, we are doing investigations, we are engaging with the community. Now, one of the important things that I want to mention is the police board. We do not report to mayor and council. We have a police board. That's what all municipal police departments in BC, in Canada actually, they report to a police board. Why? Because don't want to make it political. And so I report to the board, and the board reports to the province, and financially with budget, the board reports to the city of Surrey, to council. And so that kind of flows. We have a brand new board. 2 people from the last board have come on, and then we have 7 new people. So it's 9 people that we have on the board. And I want to talk about recruiting here. We're doing very well with recruiting. There's 2 streams. There's brand new recruits that go to the Justice Institute of BC. And we are gaining more and more seats there for us to be able to increase the size, the capacity of SPS. The other stream is experienced officers. And we have actually in 2 weeks here, we have 29 experienced officers that are going to be starting with us. And they will be deployed on the street, they will be deployed in investigative areas, and they'll be deployed in human resources, whether it's recruiting unit or training. And this is a picture. One of the things that I do is I run with the recruits. This picture is actually right outside here. We start from here and we do a loop and go around the corner. And this is a class that is 11. And they were 2 weeks out from starting at the Justice Institute because they're here for 2 weeks. We train them a little bit about what SPS is all about, and we send them to the Justice Institute. Okay, and what happens next? So I get the question all the time is, Chief, how long is this going to take? 3 years, probably less than 3 years. I'd like to get it done as soon as possible, and of course, the provincial government, municipal government, federal government would like to get it done as soon as possible. But I have 500 police officers. I got to hire 300 more because the city is authorized for the budget 810, but let's just use 800 as a number. So I still have a lot of hiring to do in a number of years, both brand new recruits and experienced officers. And then the RCMP, of course, have to demobilize. And I always say that it's not as easy as it sounds to demobilize. If the RCMP members go to Langley or Burnaby, that's easy. But if they go to another province or Chilliwack, they have to sell their house, they have to buy a house. That takes time, that takes logistics. So they are working through that, and we're working together on a number of different matters. We have a lot of committees in order to fulfill the mandate of the transition and make it as smooth as possible and as quick as possible. Very important is the question about what is our policing model. Our model has to do with community policing, which is engaging with the community. And we did a couple of surveys in the community. We did one in 2021 and 2024. And we found out that the community, number one, would like to see a lot of police officers, police presence. Kind of makes sense. And I'll tell you where we heard a lot of that is in the high density areas and the shopping malls and shopping plazas and so forth. Want to see have some presence there. Number two, what the community said, generally speaking, is they want to be part of the solution. And it doesn't matter whether it's Clayton in this area, South Surrey or Whalley or Newton, but they want to be engaged in part of the solution of how to get to community wellness, how to reduce crime, reduce disorder, and help the community be well. And what that means is we do have a lot of people that are unhoused, mental illness, addictions, and we as a society together have to deal with that and mitigate that. And that makes the community better. We know that with community wellness, that the better the community is feeling about itself, the safer it feels, less crime. This goes hand in hand. It just makes sense. We have 5 districts throughout, and in each district there is an inspector that is going to be in charge, and that is going to be his or her precinct, if you will. So we have Inspector Ben Rodrigue in Whalley, we have Inspector Suk Sidhu in Newton, and then we will move towards, in the summertime, to take over South Surrey, half of South Surrey in the summer, half in the fall, just because it's such a big geography, and we will move through that. I want to talk about road safety because that came up in the surveys all the time. And we had 13 fatal collisions in 2024 in Surrey. And most of them are alcohol related. And so one of the things that we did on November 29th is we formed an impaired driving unit. And they're out there on weekends, especially long weekends, at events and so forth. We have to be, given that the city's growing, we have to be very careful and very focused on keeping our roads safe. The last thing I'll mention about our model here is we're going to have a tiered policing model. We're just in the process of getting volunteers. We want a lot of volunteers joining the Surrey Police Service, and that just give a couple hours a week. Then we're going to have peace officers, community safety officers that are not police officers 100%, but they have some training, and then we have police officers. And that way, it's a model where we can be very efficient with the city taxpayer dollar, and yet have a lot of police presence out there. I get asked a lot about technology and what we're going to do about technology. So number one is we've just trained some pilots for the drones, and the first time the drones are going to be deployed is Vaisakhi Parade. And the reason is because they can fly up high and see the crowd and see where all the groupings are, and if the traffic is not moving or the parade's not moving, it can be of great assistance for us there. So we'll have a couple of drones there. We will also have, in the fall, we're going to have some body-worn cameras. Came up on the survey over and over again. The community would like to see police officers wearing body-worn cameras. A number of agencies are already doing that. Delta's doing that. Vancouver is doing a pilot project. So in the fall, we're going to have a pilot project of the body-worn cameras. And I think that'll be very good, both from an investigative point of view and an accountability point of view. The last thing that I'll mention in technology is genealogy, and that has to do with genetic testing. So if you have an offense and you have some DNA, some police departments across Canada, I'll mention Calgary and Toronto, they do genetic testing through many companies that are out there that do that for families. And that way they look at finding who the individual is that's responsible for that crime. But it's only for very, very serious crimes because it's very expensive and it takes time. But I know these two agencies have done that, and they've given a lot of closure to families where there's been serious offenses and serious harm because they're able to find individuals through genetic testing as opposed to other means. They've exhausted all of that. This is a very, very important area for me, is youth. This city is growing, going to be the biggest city in British Columbia, and the influx of people coming in every month, and families, and we have to collectively look at what are we doing to prevent our youth from making bad decisions in life and getting involved in gang conflicts, getting involved in drugs, etc., etc. So we will be putting together a youth strategy. It's not quite there yet, but we will. That has to do with education, prevention. What about those youth at risk? We know there's certain people out there that are at risk of going in the wrong direction. What about those that are in gangs now? Intervention. And then the final one is enforcement. And you've seen them out there, whether it's the gang enforcement teams from the province or it's the Surrey enforcement team, etc. But before we get to all of that at the end here, we have to be synchronized in doing everything before on the prevention side, intervention, education, youth at risk. We're going to be putting something together that I think is going to be very good and very comprehensive. And we know that when you're talking about prevention programs, it takes a long time to really see the effect and difficult to measure that. But we want to have programs that offer a really good return, that we know it's working. And we're going to pick those that we know are working for police agencies from across Canada. So before I open it up to questions, I want to thank all of you that you have an interest in policing and public safety, and you're here today. I think that's very important as we move forward as a society, as we consider all the geopolitical incidents across the world. And I'd like you to keep talking to us and asking questions about what we do. And it's helpful to have that information from the media or us be able to talk to you and you distribute that information to the community. So I'll stop there. And Ian, if you could then coordinate the questions.
I want to say thank you. For a couple of years, we've been invitees to the Punjabi Press Club. And so we've learned a few things, including how the question and answer format should work. If everybody could start with one question and one follow-up and then give everybody an opportunity to ask a question. Everybody knows Chief Lipinski well enough to know that he will answer your questions in a fulsome way. And yes, we will start here.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. Surrey Police Service. It's like a dream come true. My question is, since SPS is now fully in charge of the area, Newton and Wally, and it's going to be first Nagar Kirtan after SPS got the rain. So I need to know, it is going to the biggest, largest gathering. What are the preparation for SPS has done so for the public safety?
For Vaisakhi you're talking about?
Yeah, Vaisakhi project.
Yes, very good question. Thank you for that. We've been working on this for 8 months. And we've been working with all the stakeholders. That includes other police agencies, that includes federal government agencies as well. We have been working with the RCMP, who obviously were in charge last year of it. We are replicating what they are doing And then we are refining and adding a little bit of our stuff to it, which, as I said, there's going to be some drones and some other things that we're doing behind the scenes. I did a briefing to the mayor and some of her managers, city managers, bylaw and so forth, and that went extremely well. And then we're going to have another briefing a week before. And that way, we're all on the same team. So we have RCMP in the room, we have Surrey Police Service in the room, we have bylaw in the room, we have city managers, we have the mayor in the room, and so forth. So we outline and discuss the parade route. We discuss the timing of things. We discuss who might be there because it is an election year. And we're looking to address all of those areas. So I've got a number of people. In fact, the Superintendent Allison Good, she came from the RCMP. She's SPS now, she's superintendent, and she is in charge of that. And years gone by, she was in charge of the planning and Surrey detachment of doing this for 5 years. So she's got great experience. I feel very confident that we are ready, and we continue just to evolve the plan. So the starting point is, it's going to be just like last year's plan, learnings from there, and then having briefings with all the relevant stakeholders. And as we get closer, then having more briefings, and then we know who will be where, who's going to come from where, if there's any special guests, and then we move forward with it. I'm very, very comfortable with our planning to date.
And my follow-up question is, since SPS, it's people's choice and vision, how we can help as a media, Punjabi media, ethnic media, to give the message to the general public so that we could be a helping hand with the SPS?
Yes, I think as we grow, we're in Wally Newton now, but as we go throughout the organization, I think that we will go to you more and more. It starts with lost children and missing elders and all that sort of stuff to criminal offenses, and we're looking for somebody. Also important too, we want people to report to us. We want people to report to us. I'll give you an example. The extortions. It's underreported. We know there's a lot more that goes on and that we're not getting. It's important for us to know and let us know what is going on in the community, so that we can have the data, so we can have the investigative lead. You don't know if this file here is connected to this file here if we don't know about this file. So right from the very beginning of just putting out prevention information to helping us with investigations. We're going to be contacting you more and more as we grow.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Chief Lipinski, and thank you for inviting the media. It's a very good exercise, I think, help everybody. My question is about drones.
Yep.
And it's very fitting. We're living in an AI world now. And so did you test drive these drones? And having said that, when you will use these drones during Vaisakhi, very, very good idea. And how your backup will be. Let's see, there is something unusual happening.
Mm-hmm.
You have your guys very quickly to address the issue.
Mm-hmm. Okay, a couple of things. So first of all, I'll talk about drones. In order for us police officers to fly a drone, you need a certificate from the federal government. So you got to take a course. And you know, it's not about buying these things and take it from Best Buy and then fly them around. No, these are specially made drones, and they have to, the driver, the flyer, the pilot has to be certified by the federal government. And so, very good point about having high visibility. And I'm not going to get into details, but we do have preparations ready just for that. if they're up there seeing something, we will have people ready to go at specific locations through the parade route. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But that is a good reason why we have these. So you can determine quickly and you can respond quickly. So, yes, and the drones can see very, very well. So they have lenses on them. It's just like a camera, and it's, you know, can be telephoto lens.
All right, thank you. And coming back as my follow-up question is the transition between RCMP
Yeah.
and you guys.
Yep.
Like what percentage of RCMP still working with you guys or you guys working together? How that coordination
Yeah,
is going?
so, yes, so we have 500 police officers working. They have 300. They actually have 400 because they need administrative assistance too. They need HR, they need training people, but actually where we need people, like actual operational 300. We give the number 327, but they need more because they have to manage the organization, obviously. So, you know, we're well over half to be there. And we will continue through South Surrey, and then it'll be Cloverdale, and then up north in Guildford. That's how it'll work it'll be the end of 26, beginning of 27.
So is the transition going smoothly?
It's going smoothly. We just got to figure out when are they moving and when are we moving in. We're hiring, and the hiring is going good right now. Even though across Canada, every police agency is looking for police officers, but we still have a little bit of extra interest here because we're brand new. And for a lot of people, you know, some of these people that we hire are from other agencies, but they live in Surrey. And they grew up in Surrey and they want to get back to Surrey. So they come back here and it works out very well. Our recruits, so many, most of my recruits, born and raised in Surrey, and very, very good, very good. And they're passionate. They have a lot of energy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief, for inviting us. So my question is, what kind of cultural training do Surrey Police officers receive to better understand and to serve the Punjabi community?
Yeah, very good. I'll ask Jag here to really get a little bit more into the details of that. But let me start off. We're very aware of the diversity in this city. And so whether it's our experienced officers who come from across Canada, we have 28 different agencies, 28, that come from all across Canada. And so we have 6 weeks of training that we provide to them. And we do give cultural training in relation to all cultures. And then we have yearly training that we give, because every year we have a couple of days of training everybody's got to go through. And one of those training things is you have to qualify on your sidearm. Okay. But then there's other training, updates in law, cultural awareness, trauma-informed practice, etc. Jag, did I add to that?
ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਚ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਨਸਰ ਦੇਣਾ ਸੋ ਦੋ ਯੂਨਿਟਸ ਆਪਣੇ ਕੋਲ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ, ਇੱਕ ਤਾਂ ਐਕਟਿਵ ਡਾਇਵਰਸਿਟੀ ਇਨਕਲੂਜਨ ਤੇ ਹਿਊਮਨ ਰਾਈਟਸ ਯੂਨਿਟ ਔਰ ਦੂਸਰੀ ਇੰਡੀਜਨਸ ਰਿਲੇਸ਼ਨਸ ਯੂਨਿਟ ਆਪਾਂ ਬਣਾਈ ਹੈਗੀ ਸਰੀ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਸਰਵਿਸ ਤੇ ਫੋਕਸ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਇਹੀ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀ ਕੋਈ ਮੈਂਬਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਹਾਇਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਚਾਹੇ ਉਹ ਐਕਸਪੀਰੀਅੰਸ ਮੈਂਬਰ ਆ ਚਾਹੇ ਰਿਕਰੂਟ ਹੈਗਾ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਟ੍ਰੇਨਿੰਗ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਜਾਵੇ। ਵੀ ਆਫਟਨ ਟਾਕ ਅਬਾਊਟ ਵੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਐਕਸਪਰਟਸ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ, ਪਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਐਕਸਪਰਟੀਜ਼ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀਜ਼ ਬਾਰੇ ਸਿੱਖਣਾ ਆ। It's one thing to say police officers are experts, we are in certain areas, but real experts are also in the community. So ਉਹਨਾਂ communities ਬਾਰੇ ਜਾਣਨਾ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ trauma ਜਾਂ marginalized communities ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ, how do we tackle that? How do we support them? Again, it's approach of support. So every member goes through that training. ਫਿਰ equity diversity inclusion ਦੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਾਰੀ ਸਰਵਿਸ ਨੂੰ half a day training ਦਿੱਤੀ, ਉਹਦੇ 'ਚ community ਵੱਲੋਂ experts ਆਏ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਉਹ training ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੁਹੱਈਆ ਕਰਵਾਈ ਹੈ। Focus, making sure people understand cultural sensitivity. So when we're dealing with public, whether you're dealing with the front line, you know, stopping a traffic infraction, how do we deal with public? That's the focus.
Maybe you can show them the vest with the names, the tags.
Yes, so
Bring it over here. Yeah.
this is again one of those things, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀ ਕੋਈ officer ਦੋ languages ਬੋਲ ਸਕਦਾ ਜਾਂ ਦੋ ਤੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ language ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ name tag ਦਿੱਤਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ। And reason being ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾਲ ਡੀਲ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਸਬਜੈਕਟ ਨਾਲ, या कोई भी community member ना, they can see that this person can speak Punjabi, Farsi, or whatever language they speak. So this project is ongoing, ताकि उन्हें नु guess ना करना पड़े. So again, giving that community-based policing model that we promise you folks.
Thank you.
Good question, thank you.
Thank you. Chief, my one question was addressed by Mr. Sidhu. I have another question about extortions. It was very rare in the past, but recently we heard of extortions. Is now less or controlled?
A couple of comments on that. Number one, as I mentioned before, I think it's underreported. I don't think we're hearing everything that's going on. Number two is we've been talking with our colleagues, the RCMP, and I have a concern about extortions going forward. The question becomes, it was rare X number of years ago, 10 years ago, but here we are in today's society. Perhaps it has to do with social media, perhaps it has to do with geopolitical. Obviously there's an element of that there. Perhaps it has to do with just a commentary on society of how people are always looking for a way to make money, etc. So we're going to be, we're keeping an eye on that. I think it's, from our perspective, it's steadied off, it's leveled off a bit, but I do have a concern about extortions, and in the future you'll be hearing more from us about that. And but we encourage everybody to report them to Surrey Police Service or the RCMP.
Good evening, Chief. My name is Parmeet and I'm from Omni TV, and thank you for inviting us today for this opportunity. I would like to ask, how is department prioritizing crime prevention in the city? Because prevention is always better than cure, so I would ask your comment on it.
Yes, we do have a large crime prevention unit. It is staffed by police officers and civilians. And the Surrey RCMP we've taken over crime prevention for the entire city. The Surrey RCMP have done a very good job on crime prevention. We're taking over their programs. And also very important is the city of Surrey has a lot of programs. And we're taking over those programs and working with the city on those. So when you're talking about the mentally ill, the drug addicted, the unhoused, etc., that is very, very important. When you're talking about reporting on shoplifting to break and enters, that's very important. I mentioned gangs before, youth making right decision, that's very important. We do put in a lot of time and effort, and that's why we are now seeking more volunteers from the community, and that has to do with even some of the road safety. You saw some of the volunteers, and we want more of them with vests and Surrey Crime Prevention Society, and they go out to parking lots and shopping plazas. They do the speed watch part of it, very important, yes.
And my follow-up question would be, as you have mentioned, there is a mental health crisis.
Yes.
And there's a homelessness, which is like affecting every city right now, and law enforcement has to deal with it. So how is your department collaborate with social services to address issues like this?
As the new police service, what we're trying to do, and we are making good progress, is we're contacting all those non-government organizations. We're talking about the non-profits. We're talking about all those in Whalley, Newton, other parts of the city. And we have our people go there directly, introduce, get to know those people so we can get to know the clients, and we know who is there and how perhaps we can assist. Now, one of the things that I'm a big fan of is really getting organized with all those groups to have some synergy of a plan. Organizations get funding, province, federal government, etc., and they all do good work individually, and they all have so much good-heartedness in trying to do good for the society. And what we're trying to do as we move along here, we're going to try and get that together, everybody working together. The first thing is, and we're just starting, but get to know everybody and what is out there. And we identify the gaps, I'd like to help people get grants as well. It's very difficult right now just because of the situation, economic situation, and plus we're into an election till the 28th. But we're gonna move forward, and we're gonna really try and get everybody together.
Thank you.
So, Chief, my question is about the parents' concern about opening up new vaping stores in Surrey.
Yeah.
So parents think it's a gateway to drugs and crime and gangs. So what's your plan to stop it and to prevent it? So,
Yeah, so first of all, opening up vaping stores is bylaw related. It's a city thing. And there's an allowance, the bylaw allows that. It's difficult, and you know, not all vaping stores attract gangs and so forth. Some are legitimate businesses, if you will. But we, at the present time, we will be monitoring for any complaints or surrounding the vaping stores. If that becomes a hub of problem people, we will be there. But understand that, you know, bylaws allow vaping stores.
so in your future plans, I didn't hear about the school liaison officers.
Yeah,
So what are their plans?
youth is such an important element, and in our surveys and community engagement, there was a lot of support for school resource officers. And there's two models for school resource officers. One model is you have one police officer and you're responsible for all these schools, or the other model is you put a police officer in the school. I prefer the police officer in a school. It's not about police enforcement. It's not about you know, being the police officer and looking at these people in a way that you better behave type of thing. It's about mentorship. It's about relationships with young people. It's about helping them, guiding them to make the right decisions. So we will be, and I was asked by the board about this, the new police board, but we will be doing research, and it all depends also. It's not my choice, it's the school board, ultimately. But we will be doing the research on that. And as you know, across Canada, some communities really welcome school resource officers, others don't. And but it will be a decision by the school board, and in time, we will be putting together some research, and we will be going to the school board.
First of all, I would like to thank the Surrey Police for sharing us a really good update today. I have a question about the recruitment.
Yep.
So, what step are we taking care so that we can hire the more 300 police officers so quickly? So, is there any kind of upcoming challenges we have? As you have told, we need more experienced officer than the other officers here. So, are we how are we balancing that force?
Yes, so our recruiting people, here's how we're gonna do that. We are starting to expand, and we take in people from all across Canada, but now we're starting to send people, our recruiters, to big cities. So we're expanding our marketing, if you will. The website is always open, and anybody can apply from across Canada, but now we're gonna be boots on the ground, our recruiting people in those cities. And you know, by way of example, our recruiters actually in this province are going to Kelowna, and then they were in Calgary, so probably go out to Ontario and do that.
And are we taking any new initiatives so that we can encourage the local candidate in the job, or
Yes. Remember I talked about volunteers, then I talked about community safety officers. We feel that's going to be a recruiting stream for young people that want to get into policing but need time and maturity. And if you want to look at in the future a career in policing, then become a volunteer. And we will mentor you, and you can ask questions and learn. And then later on, probably in early 2026, we're gonna have the community safety officers, which is another level, and they can go and direct traffic and parades and do all that sort of stuff. That is a recruiting stream for us. It's very important. And many large departments have that, and they've been very successful that way.
And one last question, so is there anything with upcoming election has any like change or any delay in the process in the recruitment?
No, it hasn't. It hasn't.
Good evening all, and first of all, Mr. Lipinski, thank you very much. I'm meeting you after 3 years, and I was one of the first radio hosts that
I remember.
your interview.
Yes.
When you recently joined.
Yes.
3 years ago. As a father of a teenager daughter, so my question is that since this Surrey Police Force is into action for last 3 years, and do you have any programs that you are undertaking with Surrey School Board so as to educate, the youngsters, the teenagers in the schools to be away from drugs and gangs, and especially for the, children from the South Asian community?
Yes, we do have a number of programs. You'll recall I mentioned about crime prevention. We have a big crime prevention program. We have police officers and we have civilian people that work there. And we do have programs in relation to sports. We do have a program when you're talking about recruiting, that'd be an info session for females only. Back to the schools, we work with a lot of the nonprofits pertaining to programs in the schools. We probably have, the last time I looked, on crime prevention for the city, there's 21 different programs. So very much entrenched on that, and what I can do is I can go offline with you and give you the name of the superintendent, Lav Mangat, and he is very much involved in that, and he knows all the programs. If you wanted to really dig deeper on which programs do what, he'll be able to do that.
So another related question about that. So I have seen at your website that the minimum age to volunteer for the students is 19 years of age.
Yes.
So, but the students who are in 11th and 12th grade, they are about 16 and 17 years
Yes.
of age. So how they can participate in your programs to volunteer?
Yes, so they can, what we're gonna be doing, I forgot to mention here, is a youth academy. So each year, we're looking to put together an academy for 3 or 5 weeks, we haven't determined yet. And it'd be for young people that are in school now, and they can go and see what policing is all about. And then they can participate in some of our crime prevention programs as not somebody working or alongside of our crime prevention people, but if it's a sporting event, they can start being involved in those sporting events that are overseen by police officers or other things. So there's opportunities there. There's opportunities. It starts young. We'd like to see people interact with people. We have a youth soccer academy for 2 days every year, run by police officers. First time we did it was last year. It was very successful, and it sold out very, very quickly.
And the last question, so you know that most of immigrants, new immigrants, like the people who are on temporary resident visas, they are
Yes.
not PRs. So they are here in this part of the city, and they don't take the charges like DUI, drinking under influence, very seriously. So do you have any programs to educate these new immigrants who are not permanent residents now, so that they should not be doing these, mistakes?
Yeah, so tell me this, should we have, and we've discussed it, should we have, for new Canadians, should we have information sessions? Meaning, a town hall for new Canadians. We've thought about it. We're not sure whether there's gonna be value in doing that. I'm thinking there would be, where we would come
There
in.
should be, please.
And we would say, this welcome, and this is how Surrey Police Service works, but in fact, this is how policing in Canada works. And people come from all kinds of country. I think there's merit in that. It takes a lot of work to get people in, but that's what's on the table. We haven't solidified that.
And then that's a very good idea to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But community have to get together, police have to get together to make them aware.
Yeah,
The
yeah, okay.
And some sessions can be in Punjabi also, because
Yeah.
there are so many.
Yes, oh yeah.
Temporary foreign
Yep.
workers who are
Absolutely.
on the, other visas.
Yes,
Thank you very much.
yeah.
Thank you very much.
You good? Okay. We're over here. Ian, where are you? Over there? Go ahead, Ben.
name is Surrey and I'm from the Link newspaper.
Yep.
So first I would like to get your comment on the gang-related shootings that are happening in the high-density area. It feels like as a citizen or as a common person that they are coming more and more closer to you. What is your comment and what is your take on this, why it's happening, and even on the broad daylight when people are around, kids are around, and how you plan to deal with this, because you already mentioned in your opening remarks that the community wants the police presence in the high density areas.
Yeah, thank you for the question there. First of all, very concerning. I think we've had 5 shootings this year so far. I think it's a little bit less than 2024, but it does cause fear of crime. And yes, they're targeted against each other, but it has that feeling that it shakes up the entire community. And it goes back to a little bit of what I mentioned before and the fact of police presence. When I go to a different city in the US and I see police officers, I feel a little bit safer. It's just human nature. That is the way it goes. But we are very concerned about these shootings. There's many different stakeholders, police stakeholders involved. There's CFSCU, there's our people, there's to some degree other agencies like Vancouver Police Department. We all work together because some of these people, they travel around. Some of them, yeah, sure, they live in Surrey or Vancouver, but they travel around. And so it has to do with prevention, but it also has to do with the enforcement, and we have to investigate, which takes a long time when there's a shooting, and then there's evidence, and then there's the court system and so forth. But know this, we're very concerned about it. We understand how the community feels about it. We have to focus on our youth to try and get those people out of that. When I look at the people that are being charged, early 20s, right? So we got to get to these people when they're 16, 17, and 18. But yes, it's a very good question, and we are concerned, and we are keeping tabs on it. Thank you.
So my follow-up question is, anything particular that SPS is doing to actually increase the presence in the high density areas?
Yes, we will be increasing the density. We need to take over more of Surrey, and it's always a push and pull. I'm a fan of having people on foot walking in high density areas. I'm a fan of having my police officers on bicycles in those areas. It does a lot for community safety feeling, I feel. So we will be getting there, but we're caught in this where we have to, of course, we have to mobilize more people to take over the rest of the city, and then the RCMP have to leave, and so we're caught in this. Where do you put your resources? But know that I'm very much interested in having police presence, youth, prevention, and the enforcement. Some of these people, we have to take them to court, and some of these people just keep going at it because the money is so good, and we just have to hold them accountable.
Sorry, one last question. Any safety tip for public when they are in the area? Any safety tip or any message to the public through this?
Yes, if you see something suspicious, please report it. And sometimes when there's a gathering of people, and it could be very innocent, but sometimes there's something about to happen. So use your judgment, but if there's something suspicious, please call.
Good evening, Chief. Myself, just Karan from Channel Punjabi. Is there any data, survey, or something that shows any increase or decrease in the crime rate after the Surrey Police Department?
Yes, so there is. I don't have it here, but we can get it to you. The trend is that violent crime in this city is coming down just a bit. The trend is that property crime in the city is coming down just a bit. But we have to wait and have more time to see if it's going to stay down. I don't know what the economic situation how it will impact crime. And when I'm talking about the economic situation is, if you're talking about the whole tariff, and I don't know where that's gonna go and how many people are gonna be out of jobs. And, yeah, of course, Ontario is very, very concerned about this. But when you have people that are unemployed, it lends itself to challenges for policing. So right now, Surrey is in a good position. It's just starting to, but we gotta wait and see here.
Thank you.
I have a last question. So, in the last month of February, so our Minister of Canadian Heritage, so they did an initiative to CPC, and they feel that there have been some misinformation in around communities has been happening. So I have a question like the all media outlet here, so how they can help and support this effort to SPS so that we can also overcome this situation for anything in the future.
So I missed the first part there.
So last month,
Yeah,
so last month our Canadian Heritage Minister, so
Yeah.
they provide some funding to CBC because they feel that there has been some misinformation has been coming back
Oh.
from the community. And they feel that the social media is playing a role in that. So since we are already here, we set up this agenda, all media outlets are here. So is there anything specific SPS want from all the media outlets so that we should help in promote, help in do that?
Are you talking about foreign interference
No,
in
no,
the
no,
elections?
no. I mean like, so that we can play a
Yeah.
more role better.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
since we
yeah.
all-
yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. So we live in a society where there's social media and where people say all sorts of things and so forth and so on. And so my message to you, all of you, is come to the source, come to us. When you're talking about policing matters, when you're talking about crime matters, come to us. And, you know, Ian is here and Jag and Harry, we can get you the right information. You wanted crime data, we can get you the crime data. So the misinformation about what is happening in Surrey, we can correct that. Unfortunately, it's the feeling of being unsafe sometimes doesn't correlate with the crime data that's coming down. But what's important is how people feel. And so I'm very cognizant of that. So I say the crime rate is coming down a bit, okay, but people are feeling unsafe. So I have to do something about that. Getting the correct information, come to us. Thank you. Yes,
So in the beginning, you mentioned about geopolitics and
yeah.
a very important issue is foreign interference. Surrey is a city where a lot of things happen last few years, assassinations and others. And is there in your jurisdiction to control that, or you have Interpol or relation with others so that other country cannot interfere here, even in the elections and other things?
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. That's a federal national security issue. So that's the federal government, that's the RCMP. And so they have agencies, they have units that delve into that. So yeah, just to be clear, that's at a different level. That's a federal level. We're at a municipal level here.
So
Okay.
Chief, when you were in Delta,
Yes.
and you guys did a very good job, that no call is a
Yep.
small call,
Yep.
and it was very active. And another thing, because I was Delta resident at that time, and you guys did a great job. When you see there is a elements who live in a certain area, there are always a cruiser in that area.
Yep.
And you guys kicked them out of Delta at least at that time. Are you taking that similar model here in Surrey?
Correct, but let me give you a caveat. So Delta is a small department, 200 police officers. We're gonna be 800, and then we're gonna grow from there. And my intention, my vision, is to replicate that model, even though we're very big. But I have to take the vision to the board, and then the board takes the budget request. Because to have police officers everywhere costs money. But I think it's an investment. It's an investment in the community. And I will go to the board and show them where we can enhance community wellness, where we can reduce crime, where we can help those people, vulnerable sector. I can show that, but you need police officers to do all that. That's all community policing. So that's a segment here, and then there's a segment of just going call to call because somebody calls 911, right? So, and this part here is very important. That's why we've got an inspector in the 5 districts we're gonna have. And then after that, we're gonna add more and more police officers. I'd like to add a lot of police officers to do exactly what you're talking about and have people on foot in the high density areas or on bicycles. And then have specialty units that would assist in these emerging trends that we're seeing now in society. So that's the vision, that's my vision.
Thank you.
And as I go forward and as we put budgets together and people ask us about what, you know, you're asking for more money and so forth and so on, here's why. Here's why. That's what the community told us.
Just want to thank everybody for coming today. We're not going to rush anybody out of here, but I know that some people have other engagements that they have to get to. We have a whole table of goodies that Inspector Kosa brought from his closet, so he's more than happy to show you through that. And I know as tradition, some people want to get pictures with the chief and so on. We can accommodate that as well. But as far as the formal Q&A is concerned, we'll consider that concluded. I'm